Hello and welcome to the Red5 Developer Series. My name is Dominic Agatato and I'm the CTO and one of the founders of Infrared 5. In the third part of this series, we're going to check out the source code from the repository, verify your development workspace, we're going to build the distribution, and then we're going to run the distribution. So let's start off by checking out the source code. From the red5.org site, click on SVN Access, and down at the bottom you'll locate the trunk for the Red5 application server. You should copy this and have a workspace directory. From the terminal you could actually paste that in. And Red5 will be checked out to that workspace directory. After a few minutes, you'll notice that you've checked out a revision, and in my case, I checked out revision 3971. So from this point, we could actually open up Eclipse and start to verify the plugins that you have. The first thing you need to do is open up Eclipse and make sure that you have the following 4 plugins installed. You'll need the IVDE, which is the dependency management plugin from Ivy. You'll also need the Red5 plugin. You'll need Flash Builder and subclips. The other important thing that you should keep in mind is that you're going to want to have a JEE version of Eclipse. So when you look at the distributions that Eclipse offers, make sure you download one that is a JEE distribution, and that stands for Java Enterprise Edition. So from Eclipse you can actually click on Help and then Software Updates, and from Available Software you can add sites over here using this button. You'll notice that I have subclips installed, 1.6, and I have Apache IVDE. I'm also using a Java EE version of Eclipse, and so we're going to show you quickly how to install the Red5 plugin. From the Red5 track page, you can click on Red5 plugin, and you could follow the instructions here, or you could just copy the URL, go back to Eclipse, add a site, click OK. You'll notice that it gave you a new update site, so select that, click Install, click Next, accept the license, and we'll click Yes for the Eclipse to restart. And while that's restarting, I just want to show you that you'll need to go to the Ivy page from Apache, and from there you can also get their update site. If you do a search on subclips, you can go to the downloads link and they'll also provide you with an update site. And you could get Flash Builder from the Adobe site, so that should be all set. Next, you're going to want to import the Red5 project that you checked out from source control, and if you remember, we checked it out in the last step. So from within Eclipse in the Project Explorer view, you can right-click, import, general, and you're going to want to choose the Red5 location where you checked out the SVN. And you'll notice it'll populate with a project that you can import. Click Finish. You'll notice in the bottom right hand corner it's going to build the workspace. And you'll also notice that it's resolving dependencies using Ivy. So you have to make sure that you have that Ivy DE plugin from the update site. Now you can expand Red5 server and you'll notice all the directories from within it. The doc directory just has some documentation like a README and the change log, the license. You'll also notice that we have a test directory with all of our test cases. And the source directory has all the Red5 source from the repository. Our lib directory only has the IV jar file, and what that's useful for downloading the rest of the dependencies which go in your IV cache. The web apps directory has two folders inside of it. Those are both applications. One's the root application and one's the installer application. The installer is used to install examples that the Red5 team has produced for you. And then in the top level directory there are a number of configuration files and license. There's also the shell script files, the shutdown scripts, the build file which we'll use to make a distribution shortly. If you click on that, it'll open up in the editor. So I guess this does lead in nicely to actually build our first distribution. So if you click on the build.xml file and you locate over in the outline view, if you locate the dist target, you should right click on that and you can run as an app build. And what it's going to do is it's going to resolve all the IV dependencies. It's going to create a distribution. And since it's a successful build down here, we can refresh the Red5 server directory. And we see a new folder called dist. If you expand dist, this is an actual Red5 distribution here. We could run this from the terminal. And Red5 is running. So if I open up a browser and I go to localhost, you'll get the Red5 page. And this basically says that you've got Red5 running and you can install examples and you can launch demos. And we talked about that earlier about the example application. So if you click on install, this is the Red5 example application. You can install OFLAW demo, the Echo application, FITC demo. The SO sample is the shared ball example. So let me install that. It says it was installed. So if I go back to the home page and I launch a demo, I can now use the shared ball since I installed it. Click on the connector. I'm going to create a new window here. Connect there. And now these two are going to be synchronized using remote shared objects. And we'll go into that example and we'll figure out how to get those examples so that you could see them later on. But for now, just know that you could install them and you could run them. In the next part of our series, we'll talk a little bit more about distributions and we'll talk about shutting down Red5. So thanks for joining.